Hey everybody, Mark Agnesi here for Gibson TV. Today I'm sitting here with my friend, leader of Nick Perri and the Underground Thieves. They've got a live pay-per-view streaming event coming up this Friday. My friend Nick Perri. What's up, dude?
Hi, brother. Nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, thank you for being here. We got so much stuff to talk about, but before we get into anything, we probably got to talk just a little bit about a hero of both of ours, a friend of yours, Eddie Van Halen. How you holding up over there?
You know, there's no other way around it, man. It's been a tough week. And not just for, I think, people who knew him, but everybody I know has been sad, you know, because in one way or another, I think everybody who's picked up a guitar, whether, like you said earlier, they know it or not, they have been inspired by something this man, you know, has done or contributed to our musical lives. So.
Yeah, whether you know it or not. Now, you actually broke the news to me the other day. We were playing phone tag and got on a call, and I think you found out about 10, 15 seconds before I called you, and you told me. It was a weird moment, man.
I think we just sat there in silence for like 30 seconds, and they were like, "Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow."
Maybe we should do this tomorrow. Yeah, it was rough. Now, I mean, you and Ed got close. Your first band, Silvertide, you guys opened a ton of dates on the Van Halen reunion tour. Do you remember how many shows you guys opened for Van Halen?
I mean, it was a hot minute ago, so not off the top of my head. I think it was somewhere around 30 shows. It could have been 40 shows, but it was a nice chunk of the front part of the tour. I know there was other bands that did other legs, but I think we did the first 30 or so shows.
I remember you telling me in another interview we did, you were mowing the lawn when you got the call that you guys were going to open for Van Halen. Is that true? Am I recalling the story correct?
You're very close, but it was mowing the lawn when I got the call to open for Aerosmith.
For Aerosmith. Okay.
Yes.
And then the
Van Halen one, we were already on the road at that point. I think we had done, I think we were on the road with Velvet Revolver, to be honest with you, because I remember sitting in the van and our manager called me. We were in the middle of, you know, Indiana or something, just driving down the road. And I'll never forget, he called and I screamed it to everybody in the van, and we cheered like our favorite team had won the Super Bowl or something. You know, it was like, it was an amazing moment.
Now you and Ed got pretty close on those tours. You guys used to warm up together, right, in the tuning room? What's that like, sitting face to face with Eddie Van Halen warming up before the gig?
I mean, I don't know that I could put it into words to capture the full thing. I mean, you know, it was everything you'd imagine it would be. It was incredible. And I don't know if I ever told you the story, but the reason how that happened was, and I think it's been well publicized, that his favorite guitarist was Eric Clapton. But I don't know if people talk about this, but he was a huge AC/DC fan, a huge Angus Young fan. And when we met, it was so interesting because it was like, I didn't know him as a person. And he just came up to me. He came into our dressing room 5 minutes after we got there, which was awesome. He had the red, white, and black sneakers
on. Yeah.
And he had a guitar on. He came in to jam and hang out and just, you know, meet the opening band. But he said to me, like, really off the cuff, like, what are you listening to right now? Like, what's your favorite record right now? And I gave the literal answer I had at the time, which was AC/DC Powerage. And he kissed me on both cheeks and said, I want you to meet me in the tuning room. I didn't know he was such a huge fan of AC/DC and Angus. But when I got into that room, I think the first day I was in there, we were jamming and warming up. We played like, you know, AC/DC riffs. It was just a trip. Unbelievable.
Well, it's a huge loss for anybody who's into the guitar, anybody who's into rock and roll music, but he will be sorely missed. But we at least had to get that done. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about here. You guys are doing a live stream pay-per-view event coming up here. What can you tell us about it?
We are. It is this Friday, October 16th, and it is going to be, so we went out on this drive-in tour. We did a few dates with the Struts, and then we did a bunch of dates supporting Blackberry Smoke. And one of the shows Well, we filmed all of them, but this one in particular in Scranton, Pennsylvania was incredible. It was literally on a mountaintop. And when we looked at the footage and saw the way it looked and heard the way it sounded, we thought, you know, perhaps this is something that people would enjoy, you know, in lieu of being out on the road right now and visiting every town in America, you know, like we would be doing. We figured we'd bring this show into people's living rooms. So it's basically, we put it together as a concert film, and it will be streaming back at 2 different show times. There's an early show for people who are in the UK or in Europe, and then there's a later show for people who are in North America.
Cool. And one of the other cool things is it's a $10 ticket, and anytime you buy a ticket, you're entered to win a Gibson Firebird. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, it just happened that way. But man, that's pretty cool. Is there anything people got to do, or just buying a ticket's enough to get you entered to win?
No. Anybody who buys a ticket is gonna, you know, for $10, somebody's gonna win, you know, a genuine Gibson Firebird. It's pretty amazing.
Very, very cool. Well, tell me a little bit about the drive-in show experience, because with the uncertainty about touring, even in 2021, this might become kind of the cure for a lot of people. What's it like to play them, and what do you think that the fan experience was like being at one of these drive-in shows?
That's a great question. Overall, my takeaway from the whole experience is that it was awesome. And I think that everybody was a little bit apprehensive to see how it would work. But from what I got from people who attended the shows, everybody had a killer time. Everybody was able to enjoy the show from their car or sitting on their hoods. I saw, you know, girls popping out of the moon roofs waving, and some
Nice.
people backed up their trucks so that they had the bed of the truck. They had, you know, a cooler, and, you know, were eating snacks and whatever hanging out in the back of the truck, you know. So it looked like everybody was having genuine fun, and still in a distant, you know, safe way. And as far from our perspective, obviously it's a little different. You don't have the intimacy of being right there, having somebody in the front row and feeling that like super close connection. But again, in lieu of doing nothing, it was totally awesome.
You're on a stage, there's full production, it's loud, it's a rock show still, right?
It's a rock and roll show. So it's like in this moment in time, exactly what you just said. How cool is that in this moment in time that there was still able to be a rock and roll show, and that experience, the communal experience. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing, you know, even outside of rock and roll, going to comedy shows, going to theater, like the experience of everybody in one setting, all connecting to a singular thing. It's important. It's become an important part of our cultural experience. So,
let's talk about your debut record, Sun Via, debut as Nick Perri in the Underground Thieves. You've done this before, but man, you and I have been talking about this record for a long time. There was a weekly phone call where I had to call and check in just to see how you're doing. There was a lot of things happening. You guys released this. You released this as your own label. What's it like, one, to have the freedom of being your own label, and two, what's the work like having to be your own label?
Well, as you know, with anything in life, there are pros and cons to every situation. So the big pro, I've been doing this a long time, as you know. This is the first time in my life, in my adult life, in my career, that I've been able to put forth a body of work with zero, and I mean literally zero, artistic compromise, which for me is freaking mega. Like, that for me is, at this point in, you know, my journey, that for me is worth its weight in gold. So, you know, the lead track, Feeling Good, has a 1 minute long guitar solo. No one told me to cut it. No guy in a suit said like, yeah, you got to trim that second verse. You know, like, I'm not listening to any of that stuff. I can do whatever I want. And it's pure, exactly, for better or worse. It's what was in my head, my heart, and what I wanted to put forth myself and my bandmates. On the flip side, it's an unbelievable amount of work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm running a record label from my basement, and also the songwriter, producer, engineer, artist, you know, and doing all the other stuff. So I am lucky. I have a small team around me who is helping, but you know, it's a lot of work.
Well, speaking of that first single, Feeling Good, despite the fact that there is no label pushing that single to radio, it continues to just start creeping its way up to the top 40, man. This thing has been on a steady climb up. Tell me about what it's like to not only be doing it yourself, but to be seeing people picking up on it, man.
Well, it's incredible. And you know, we went into it with moderate expectations, knowing where we were at, as you said, as an independent act. But I think it's the kind of song that whether people know it or not, you know, it kind of gets, I don't know. I think it resonates with people when they hear it, you know, and I think I'm just grateful that it is connecting with people. And it's been a slow burn. You know, we started the radio campaign months ago, but it's getting there. It's darn close. I think it's at number 49. So I'm excited. I'm very grateful, you know, and grateful to everybody who's been supporting it. And since the Silvertide days, you know, it's an amazing thing. I don't take it for granted. All the people who've been supporting me and all these years, it's awesome.
Now, if that's not enough work and you don't have enough on your plate, I had you score the entire first season of Gibson TV's The Process. I didn't necessarily realize how many cues that was going to be. How many pieces of original music did you write and produce for that 14 episode series?
75.
75 cues. My bad, dog. Like, I did not expect it to be that much work, but then they started getting into editing.
I think you were like 10, 12 pieces of music.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 10, 14 episodes, whatever. It's good, you know, like you'll do it in a weekend. What was that like? Is this the first time you scored something, or have you scored other things before?
No, I've done some stuff like this before. I've done some work in the TV world and commercials and stuff on occasion. You know, my primary focus is being an artist and doing my music, but I've gotten calls for stuff on occasion. So, but this was really unique in that, you know, you guys were shooting this, and the footage, for anyone who hasn't watched it, you got to watch, because the footage is beautiful and it tells a story. So I wanted the music to help facilitate that story and to match, in an emotive way, match the content that people were seeing. So when you're talking to somebody who's been with Gibson for years and they've dedicated their lives to the work that's being done, it needed to have the right piece of music to like evoke the right feeling. So it was really, for me, it was just about nailing the different feelings and trying to help the team, you know, tell the story. So it had its challenges, but it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun, and it was something that took me out of my own bubble that I'm usually in, you know, writing and producing my own stuff, in a really great way. So,
well, it definitely kind of put the bow on top of the package, because we won an award. Gibson TV won its first award on The Process, a Telly Award for Best Documentary Series. We're recutting it all right now into a feature-length film. So one long play kind of documentary style film, which I'm really excited to start looking at. But man, it was the perfect soundtrack, and Jim DeColo's storytelling and dialogue and just the beautiful shots that the crew got. It was a lot of fun to make. But yeah, thank you again. Really did not expect it to be as much work as you did, but you did it, and the proof is in the pudding. If you guys haven't seen The Process, go on Gibson TV. All 14 episodes of that are streaming now. People would kill me if we didn't talk guitars for at least a little bit. You seem to go through guitar phases. Maybe a year ago it was a big 335 phase. Then it was a big Les Paul phase. Then I picked you out a killer SG at the custom shop, and there was an SG phase. And now it seemed to have come full circle, and you're back to the Firebird again. What is the Firebird doing for you that is making that the number one go-to right now?
Very observant and correct. So I think it all starts for me with Johnny Winter. This actually ties back in full circle to Van Halen, because when I was coming up in music and discovering as a teenager all the things that went into my vocabulary as a songwriter and as an artist, Johnny Winter hadn't entered the equation yet. It was when we were making Show and Tell, Silvertide's record, that the producer of the record, Oliver Lieber, after getting to know me and was like, yeah, Johnny Winter. And I didn't know who he was talking about. He's like, wait a minute, how can you have to know who Johnny Winter is, So he gave me, I think it was Second Winter, Still Alive and Well. Like he gave me a handful of records that, of course, blew my mind. And so immediately then, as you do, I discovered Angus, at 12 years old, and I had to have an SG, that I discovered Slash, I had to have a Les Paul. So as you do, when I discovered Johnny Winter, it was like I had to have a Firebird. So I bought a Firebird. I think the year was around 2002-ish, or no, maybe it was a little later. Maybe it was 2003, 2004. But it was right before the Van Halen tour. And when I went back to look at photos from that tour to post recently, I saw all these photos from like that moment in time of me getting the guitar. And I just, some guitars are great to sit down and play. When you stand, they have a different vibe, for whatever reason, when I'm standing, maybe it's my body size or weight distribution or whatever it is. But when I have a Firebird on and I do the thing where the strap goes over the top horn there, it all of a sudden, like, I just feel like completely balanced and whole, if that makes sense. Yeah. So from the time I got the Bird back in the day, it was really, that Firebird was my main guitar for all that Silvertide stuff, and Bella, my Les Paul, but it was mainly the Bird. So then you've got a chunk of time, 10 years, 12 years, where I didn't have one. I didn't play one. And a friend of mine called and said, man, you got to check out this bicentennial. It was a 1976 bicentennial Firebird. He's like, it's got your name all, written all over it. And I went to go see him, and I put the guitar in my hand, and I was like, I didn't tell him that second, but I knew immediately when I touched the neck, I was buying the guitar. So I haven't put it down. Like, it was almost like that thing of like you said, full circle moment where, the first time I plugged into a Marshall after years of not playing Marshalls, and then I went back, it was like, oh yeah, here's home. Yeah. So I think, to answer your question, that was a long answer, but it has to do with my history, all the years I played and toured with Firebirds, and of course the way they sound, and there's a certain quality to their tone and a very vocal mid-range thing, and the way it makes me feel when I'm playing. And when people see the drive-in show, I think it'll be apparent. Like it's so comfortable for me. I feel like the way I move and I play, it's just, I don't do any of that. It's not as easy with any other guitar. Yeah. Well, again, for all of those people out there, Friday, October 16th, what are the show times? I know you said there's 2 show times. What are the show times that people want to tune in? Sure. Well, yeah. So the early show is 2 p.m. on the East Coast, but that I think really translates to 7 p.m. in London. Okay. So for people who are in the UK and Europe, you can base your time zone around that one. It'd be 7 p.m. London. I think it's called GMT. Yeah. But it's really 2 p.m. Eastern. Then the later show is going to be 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. in Los Angeles. And that would be the later show. So both show times, it's the same show. You don't have to buy tickets to both, just buy ticket to one, whatever time zone you're in. And we hope people dig it. And where can people buy tickets if they want to watch? Nick Perri Music, Perri, hubs to all the different things. The show is being hosted by a site called Veeps, which is a pretty cool new platform that I've become aware of. But they can find the link, on my website, Nick Perri Music, or if they're on Instagram, they can get the link in my bio, all that stuff. And one of you guys who buys a ticket to this show is winning a damn Gibson Firebird, man. You have it there? Can you show me the guitar? Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Here you go. This is it. This is the actual one, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, baby. Yeah. Look at that.
you rubbed the new off of that just a little bit over the last couple days since taking it out of the case, or have you been leaving it untouched?
It has been, I did a little jam on it when I opened the box. We did like an unboxing video.
Yeah.
We can find that on the socials, but I'm leaving it mostly untouched. You know, the winner will have, you know, whatever they want me to do or not do, I will do. But until we announce the winner, I'm leaving it as new as can be, you know.
Very, very cool. Well, there you go. On October 16th, Friday, 2 showings, Nick Perri and the Underground Thieves. Go to nickperrimusic.com. Perri with an I. Get yourself a ticket, enter to win the Firebird. And if you're not doing it, call your local rock radio station. Request
Yes.
Feeling Good by the Underground Thieves, Nick Perri and the Underground Thieves. Check out the record. Is there any more of the Cactus Green vinyl in stock, or is the Cactus Green sold out?
No, there are some Cactus Green left.
There's still
Some people
Cactus
want-
Green vinyl left. Go to nickperrimusic.com, get yourself a thing. Dude, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Once that thing cracks the top 40, we'll start talking top 20.
Yeah, man. Thank you for the support, brother. It's great to see you as always.
Well, we love you. We love having you as part of the family, dude. And we wish you all the best. I'm looking forward to checking out the show on Friday.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Mark Agnesi for Gibson TV. Peace.